Welcome along to the Laura and Becky show. So we were radio presenters. We used to present a breakfast radio show together. We had a good old laugh actually doing that, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Thinking back to those times.
It was all right.
It was right. This is more fun though, isn't it?
Oh, way more fun.
So we don't do that anymore because we were sacked and then we were trying to decide what to do. We flew off to Mallorca and got drunk and the idea of this podcast came about.
We are now sponsored by the Casa Hotel Group, RedBrik Estate Agents and East Midlands Airport. Talking of radio, you know I like a good slag off of radio sometimes.
It's your favourite thing.
So annoyingly in my car now, when I turn it on, it automatically goes on to Greatest Hits Radio.
Yeah.
Which is obviously Bauer, who took over Peak that we used to be on.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a big radio group basically for all the non-radio people listening.
So Greatest Hits Radio plays just that, the greatest hits. But like oldies, like there's probably a lot of Dire Straits and Blondie and
Whitney.
stuff like that. Yeah, maybe
Bon
Whitney.
Jovi in there, maybe.
Probably.
Bryan Adams.
Yeah.
You know, this sort of thing.
They've now got Ken Bruce, right, from Radio 2.
Yes.
Yeah? So they've basically like lifted him up and plonked him in a different studio. I think it's the same show. His show, I don't know when his show starts. 10 o'clock maybe?
Is he on now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 9:30, they do a top 10 till Ken.
So hang on, so the people who were on before do and what is the top 10? Top 10 songs?
Top 10 of like 1969 probably or something like that.
So basically it's all just building up to Ken.
I don't think I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, we're going to take your last half an hour
and just run.
Mind you saying that, the last hour of a radio show is normally quite boring. Let's be honest.
We used to do the top 9 at 9. Was it? No, what was it? I mean, we won't remember. What was it?
Yeah. Something like that.
What did they used to call it?
No, wasn't it?
Not happy hour.
The Thursday rewind. No, wasn't every day different? Tuesday was like R&B. Wednesday was
that's Peak Radio. Do you remember Peak FM used to do the top 9 at 9? I mean, we didn't pay much attention, did we? Because Ricky used to do it all.
Yeah, literally. We've got not.
Can you remember one title of any feature we used to do with Ricky on Peak FM?
What was that thing we used to do early in the morning? There was something, and it was like a ticking, tick, 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 tick.
Yes, but what
was it called? And you had to guess
we did that show over and over again. And because we didn't have to press any buttons, mate, sometimes I'd sit there the whole show just like,
Well, I'd be there on my phone. Literally, I'd be on Instagram and Facebook and be like, yeah. And then he'd be like, what? And I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. There'd be Ricky like back timing and the news and blah, blah, blah. We'd be like, just let me know when you want me to talk.
No, we were so lazy, weren't we? I remember I actually used to arrive after the show had started. I literally used to turn up at 6:10 and the show started at 6. And I'd be like, oh yeah. It just became the norm.
Yeah, God, yeah. Yeah, we didn't have to do anything. I mean, to be fair, at some points it was like, can I do something? And then Ricky won't mind me saying this. He's quite precious about running the desk, wasn't he?
Yeah, but I think that anyone who runs the desk, I do think in radio is quite precious because that's their job. Yeah. That's what they do.
Yeah.
But I think it keeps your mind ticking over, doesn't it?
Well, I remember I was like, can I have a go? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then after about 10 minutes, I was like, right, you can have it back now.
Actually,
it's
quite hard work.
What do you mean pressing buttons and timing things? Nah, not for me.
Going back to when we were on Peak Radio though together, so when we were coming up with ideas for the show, because obviously we were starting a brand new breakfast show, we were sort of deciding what features and what things to do on the show. And we were in that last hour, so the 9 till 10 hour, we just wanted to bang any old thing. Because you literally like got 1 hour to go. What shall I do now? How can we make this go quicker? Let's just do the top 9 at 9 or whatever it is.
But I mean, we can be honest now. So we used to pre-rec the first half hour of that show, even though it started at 7. We used to pre-rec it, so we'd get in at about 7:40. Yeah, we used to run in. We'd be like, it's the last
how many songs have we got left?
Yeah. And then at 7:40 we'd go live until 9. And then we'd just pre-rec the last hour, then pre-rec the next half hour. Do you remember how confused we used to get and where we were?
We would be pre-recking so many shows. We'd be doing the day before, sometimes the day off, and sometimes the day after. We wouldn't know what day it was. So say it's a Thursday, right? We go in, we pre-rec for the Thursday, some bits for the Friday, sometimes for the Monday, a little bit as well. We'd be like, hang on a minute, what day is it again? We honestly, the confusion was real.
Do you remember when we were moving studios, we pre-recced a week? We did a week.
Yes. I mean, was that in the old studio?
Yeah, do you remember? We did a whole week.
I remember we were going stir crazy. Do you remember that? We were literally nearly tearing our hair out in there. That's too much.
Well, I don't think you're allowed to do it, are you now?
No, I think it might be illegal.
Anyway, at 9:30, just to let you know, if you want to listen to Greatest Hits Radio, there's the top 10 before Ken.
It sounds right. I've never listened to him on Greatest Hits. I might even
Mate, he sounds exactly the same. Exactly the same. Just a couple of ad breaks in between. So yesterday we had a busy day planning, emailing.
My God, it was a lot of admin, wasn't it? Ticking things off lists, putting things on our whiteboard. A lot of planning for our party as well, which is obviously happening on Friday. Guys, if you are coming, you are in for a treat because there's some exciting things happening.
I tell you what is really funny is that we now, whenever we see people like, oh, you should come to our party. Oh, come to our party. To the point now where we actually don't know who's coming to our party.
Oh, we got the list out yesterday, didn't we? And actually, it's got out of control. Is all I can say. We don't know who's coming.
We've lost. And then we'll talk about someone and we'll go, did we invite them to our party? And then we'll have to go and look back at message and we're like, oh, yeah, they're coming.
The guest list is mad. We've got some characters coming as well. I mean, some characters that you won't even have heard us talk about on this podcast yet. But if you're coming, you're going to meet them and you'll know what we mean.
What we're doing is we're trying to decide whether to make an entrance or not. So we don't know. We don't want to be there greeting everyone that comes through the door.
No, it's exhausting.
That's like a wedding. No, it's actually not like a wedding, is it? Because they make an entrance, don't they? They're like, welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Wilson. And
should we do that? Welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Laura and Becky.
I quite like the idea of a song coming on, everyone going, oh, it's a great song. Probably Lonyo.
Summer of Love.
And then we don't like walk in like holding hands or anything, but we just saunter in.
Because we don't want it to be cringe. We don't want it to be too set up.
Will we make it cringe? Because I think you'll do a little shimmy. I don't think you'll be able to not be like, "Whoa."
I'm going to have a shot before we walk in as
well. I mean, we can do that. But I think, and also at what point do you walk in? Do we leave it till 8? Do we have people there for an hour? I think we need to leave it to them like, where are they?
Do you think an hour's too much?
And also the problem is that if we're not there, they're going to be like, oh, they're going to come in on horses or they're going to come in on
topless men.
And then when we just walk in, they're going to be like, oh, right, here they are.
Do you know what, mate? In all fairness, it's our party. We can do whatever the heck we want.
People won't notice we've walked in.
Yeah.
We'll be like, we're... Hello.
Yeah. No one will care.
Here.
They'll all be having a great time.
No
one will care.
No one will even notice we're not there, let alone us walking in.
I had Lonyo, Summer of Love, on in my car last night.
Did you?
And I had it on really loud.
Did you daydream?
Yeah, I was picturing us walking in. And I was thinking, I'll do that, I'll do this. And then there'll be Lone there. And
Lone.
I'll be there. Yeah.
Just Lone.
Just Lone.
And they'll just be Lone there.
I think actually he was the only one that I pictured there.
Do you know what as well? Whilst we're on the subject, it is our favourite subject. Yowan is coming. If he can't come, if he texts us that day going really, really sorry, because he is high profile. He might have something going on.
I don't think he'll cancel.
I'll cry.
Mate, he won't do that to us.
He better not.
Well, we were texting him yesterday, weren't we?
Well, hang on a second. First of all, he had a week off last week.
I really missed him. Did you? Because normally we have a lot of communication
I was concerned.
with Yowan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're in a WhatsApp group with him and on email, and we do, through the week, we chitter-chatter about, life and whatnot and things.
We literally don't. What are you talking about?
But no,
when do we chitter-chatter with Yowan on message?
Well, we have a bit of back and forth with him, don't we?
We have a bit of back and he's a bit
forth. He's the fourth with a back. He'll love that. He will love that. But
we're definitely the back.
100%. We missed it last week. It was all quiet on the Yowan front.
Yeah.
Didn't like it. He's back. He was back yesterday.
So we've both agreed. I know we're repeating ourselves, but we don't care. He's probably our favourite person we've met.
Yep.
Since we started the podcast.
For any new listeners, he works at East Midlands Airport.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Like, who is this Yowan
He's not some homeless person.
Yeah, he works at East Midlands Airport. Obviously, we're a sponsor of the podcast, just in case you don't know.
Yeah, he's literally our favourite person. And actually, I said to you yesterday, I actually said the words, can you imagine not knowing Yowan?
And then Laura looked at me with true concern in her face. She literally went, Can you
actually
imagine? I was like, no.
Becky went, just think this time last year, we didn't know Yowan existed, which is true.
We both went quiet then and just pondered on it for a minute. We're like,
do you know what? Awful time. If this pod fails, it doesn't matter because we've met Yowan. That'll be the last thing we ever say on it. If we have to end it, we'll be like, at least we met Yowan. and then we'll be off.
It's a positive that came out of it. So we were messaging him yesterday, weren't we? And it was about another meeting of a Teams meeting.
Oh, right, that. Or not the other meeting. I wouldn't call that a meeting. The thing he messaged us about in the first place.
Oh, no. This is the meeting this week, which is actually a very exciting meeting, which we can't say about just yet, but we'll let you know. So he, Yowan, if we have to have a meeting with somebody, he will set up Teams for us. Now, if you don't know what Teams is, it's kind of like Zoom, isn't it?
Oh, we
it's a video thing. Literally, it's the most complicated thing ever. If anyone, in fact, the person we were having the meeting with at first, I threw it back to them and went, yes, we'll do Teams. Could you set that up? I think they misread it and went, yeah, you set that up. And we were like, no, we don't know how to do Teams.
Literally 5 minutes later, Yowan did it. He's great, isn't he?
He just knows that we can't set up Teams. He just does it without even having to say anything. Just he knows that we can't do it and we find it stressful. So thank you, Yowan. On the subject of Yowan as well. But should we just change the name of this podcast
to Yowan?
The Yowan Show.
The Yowan Show.
Maybe he should have like a permanent little feature.
Well, he should have his own show.
Yeah, he's got a lot of fans, hasn't he?
I don't think he'd want to do that.
Nah, probably not. He's quite, he likes to keep himself to himself, doesn't he? So we were messaging him about a meeting we've got this week. This was on WhatsApp, wasn't it?
Yes.
And he mentioned about Teams. Have we set up a Teams? And you were telling me what to write back. You were like, put this and then put a winky face at the end. I was like, I can't put a winky face to Yowan. But then we kind of...
we discussed the appropriate emoji to send to Yowan, and we went with the winky face and the pokey out tongue.
It took us so long to decide on that.
We thought that was more appropriate than just a winky face.
Well, I feel a winky face is a bit...
Aye.
It's a bit, hello.
Yeah,
bit, I was your father.
Whereas the tongue is more like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit more fun, a
cheeky,
bit more...
yeah, like, you know what we mean.
So that's what we went with, although he hasn't replied.
No, but he set another Teams meeting up. Okay. He knows. He's done it. Literally, bish, bosh, bash, there it is.
So basically, thank you, Yowan. If you're coming to our party on Friday, you'll meet the man himself.
Must listen, just cringing.
Yeah, thinking, oh God, girls.
I wonder if he forwards through that bit.
Yeah, I can't listen to them talk about me again. We were at East Mids, weren't we? Was it last week?
No, it's the week before. It was a Friday we went and we did the pod live. I had a lot of people say that, oh, you're right, babe. Got a bit of indigestion.
A little.
Saying that episode was hilarious. They loved it. And we were a bit worried because we were just sat there going, hiya, where are you going on holiday?
We actually came away from doing that podcast going, do we think anyone will actually enjoy this or find it interesting? But yeah, you're right. We had really good feedback.
Yeah. So, and we loved it. I loved doing that podcast. It gave me a bit of life because there's like people there.
Yeah.
Everyone's really happy to be going away and people were quite interested in what we were doing. And
chatting to random people.
It kind of worked well because obviously our posters are everywhere at East Mids Airport, and I think the correlation between there they are, that's who they are, it worked really well.
Mind you, I did go up to somebody there and I was stood right next to my poster. They were looking at our post. I was talking about, they didn't even twig it was me, mate. No idea.
I think, well, that's because, I mean, it's photoshopped, isn't it?
It's you, is it? You look a bit different.
So we want to go back to do the pod from departures. Now, we did mention the fact that we were a bit naughty in security. We wanted to play a prank that we'd seen online, like in another airport.
Well, we're very into our pranks at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah.
We do them on each other.
Yeah, it's very easy to prank each other.
Yeah, I've done my mum. We did Chris from the Tickled Trout.
Yeah.
We're into pranks.
Yeah. So obviously, as the security at any airport is the place where people are most stressed, but also the place where people will do anything that you tell them to do if you're the security officer, because you want to get through and you'll get on your plane. So we had spoken to Yowan about this, saying what we want to do, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. So we got to security and first of all, Becky was filming everything and there are police in security and they told you very promptly to stop filming.
Well, they were not undercover police, but they weren't obvious policemen, but they did have big old guns on their back, which I didn't notice.
Well, he had a shirt on, but he had his, what do you call that thing?
It's a body thing, a vest, a bulletproof vest.
It wasn't a bulletproof.
He had something on anyway.
What's it called? Like a not a belt,
it's like
braces.
Yeah, like braces that. It's sort of like almost like he's wearing a rucksack type thing, isn't it? Anyway, they came and had me, didn't they?
Oh, straight away they were like, you need to stop filming.
Yeah, but actually they were very, very nice policemen.
They were nice. Anyways, then we got in and there was another lovely girl. I think her name was Georgie. She was like, right, I'm going to go and find you a security officer that's like up for a bit of laugh. And it was very busy. Wasn't it?
Very. I think it was one of the busiest days of the year for them.
So anyway, Steve then comes over and meets Steve, and he was obviously up for a bit of a giggle.
Oh, you know, one of those people that just has a glint in their eye. Yeah. That was Steve. Yeah. We knew he was game.
Now, you know what?
We knew he was game.
Oh, right.
What do you think I said? You looked at me like I said something really naughty then.
So anyway, so then he's like, yeah, I'm up for it. And I think at that point, Yowan started to think, oh God, what are we doing here?
He looked nervous.
I think he got nervous.
In fact, he took himself off. Almost, you know when you're like, you want to watch something, but you don't want to watch it. That was him. He literally was like, you just go and do it, guys. And he took himself off and sat down and couldn't watch what we were doing.
From afar, didn't he?
Yeah, he was kind of a bit like that, like looking like, oh.
Now, usually I get a bit like, oh, I'm not sure. But I was like, oh, I'm up for this. Let's do this. So we had to pick a person to do the prank on. Now that is difficult.
It's really
because
difficult.
You don't want to pick someone that's going to get really offended. You don't want to upset anyone.
You don't want to pick anyone vulnerable who might take offence or get upset by what you're doing. So we pointed out so many people with Steve, didn't we? And we were like, what about them? We were like, no, because of blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then I remember you pointed out a man. We were like, you were like, him. We were like, no, he looks really scary. No, not him. Anyway, we finally agreed on a lady, didn't we? She looked... Well, did she look like she was up for it? No, not really. No one did. No, nobody did.
Everyone looks really... This is the worst bit of the airport. The worst bit is queuing up and then you got to get the trainery stuff out. And even at one point I was like, oh, this is either going to kick off or be funny, but let's go for it anyway.
Well, we all agreed on this woman. We were all in agreement. We were like, yeah, let's go for her.
So I think Yowan at one point was like, oh, what if they get annoyed? And I looked at him, I was like, then Becky and I will go up and we'll speak to them and we're good at doing like this is what we do. It will be fine. So she had glasses on her head, didn't she?
Oh, bless her. She was so sweet, this woman. Yeah, she had her sunglasses on top of her head and she got one of those grey trays and she put it on the thing. She was putting all her bits and bobs in, wasn't she? And she was really concentrating. And Steve, our security man on the inside, went to go through the scanner. You need to take your sunglasses off your head, but put them on the back of your head. So essentially wear them backwards, right? On the back of her head. And we were sort of like ducked down watching and recording this.
Trying to record people and not let them see your recording. Yeah. Was very difficult.
Oh my God, it was so difficult. And bless her heart, she did exactly what he said. Literally, without any questions, popped them on the back of her head, and then she just trundled off through the security archway thing with these sunglasses on the back of her head. I mean, we've got video evidence of this, haven't we?
This. So later on today, we'll put this on our Laura and Becky Show Insta.
You need to see it.
It's so funny. So we did that. And then we did a couple more with people coming through the scanner. And then we got Steve to put people in odd positions to see if they did it. We got one guy to do the YMCA without even realising it. It was so funny. It was brilliant.
Oh my God. And Steve was just into it, wasn't he? Like he could have gone all day, I reckon.
Is Steve coming to our party?
Oh my God, let's invite Steve.
Oh, and Russell.
Who's Russell?
The driver of the minibus. The driver
Keith.
Keith.
I was like, who's Russell?
Well, bloody hell, we probably got
just
some
making
Russell.
People out.
There's probably a Russell coming. Let's face it. We need to get Keith and Steve right.
Yeah, okay.
Need to speak to Yowan.
Yeah, and the fireman from East Mids that we're going to be doing some work with. He can come as well. So anyway, we'll pop this video of us pranking people in security on our Instagram later on today. So what's going on in the world? Everybody's been talking about Sofia Richie and everyone's a little bit obsessed with her, aren't they, at the moment? She's I think it's because she's done a complete 180. She has changed her style. She's changed her man type. She's changed her life. She's changed it all. And girls are watching this and they're intrigued by it and they're loving it.
Yeah.
So I was watching a thing on TikTok. I can't remember what it's called now, but they sort of like discuss celebrities and things in the media. And they were talking about Kylie Jenner. Now, Kylie Jenner has been in Paris. I don't know if you've seen this just recently.
Yes.
Mate, her style is a-changing.
I said this.
It's a bit of Sofia Richie.
Yeah. Well, I've watched The Kardashians, episode 1 and 2, and I'm not going to lie, they're slightly boring.
They are a little dull compared to what we've experienced before.
Yeah, I think they know they've maybe taken things a bit too far. And the ironic thing is Kylie Jenner is wanting to go back to like a simplicity and natural and not wearing a lot of makeup, yet she owns a makeup brand. So it doesn't quite correlate, does it?
Saying that, you can kind of see a change in her because it used to be very like out there outfits, didn't it? Like she was wearing the thing with the hand on her top and that kind of thing. It's all very like bold and brash and brash out there. But she's definitely toned it down in Paris. Yeah. It was all very like black slip dress. You're right, they love my body.
I'm terrible at doing that at the moment. I'll yawn at any given moment without even realising.
If you see Laura yawning at our party on Friday, you come tell me, all right?
I'll be yawning. I won't be bored, but I will be like, I'm a bit worried. I can't disappear from my own party, can I? Or can I? Everyone's going to be watching me like a hawk. Don't let her near the door.
Yeah. Is she going to yawn or is she going to be wild? It's one or the other.
It could go both ways. But I was going to say, she is only 23. She is so young that she's probably quite rightly allowed to change her style.
But it's interesting. She's done it after Sophia Richie. I mean, these girls are not stupid, are they? These Kardashians. No. They know what they're doing.
They do.
And definitely it's all, have a look on her like Insta or TikTok. She is a change. And I think we're going to see a classier Kylie Jenner.
Classy Kylie.
Classy Kylie.
Right, watch this space. It's your mate today, isn't it?
Oh God, I'd actually forgotten I was doing this today. So, where to start with this one?
Start with
my garden.
Your builder.
My builder. I was going to go way back, but no. Okay, well, yeah, we'll start.
I'm glad you got there.
I was wondering how far back to go with this story. So basically, no, I'll go there. So my boyfriend that I was with last year, he was doing my garden for me, okay? So here's the story on it. I then split with my boyfriend whilst he was in the middle of doing my garden. Silly move.
Yeah, don't do that. Wait till they've completed the job.
Don't do it midway through. But I was feeling a bit like, no, I'm not going to let somebody have control over me just because they're doing my garden. Well, silly me.
You should have. Did he ever come back and get his cement mixer?
Yes.
Oh, he did?
Eventually. But it took a good old while, guys. I mean, it was sat in my garden for a good 4 or 5 months after we split up.
Anyone's ex ever left a cement mixer? I bet you're the only one I know.
I had a cement mixer, a saw, some bikes, a blow-up bed. I mean, mate, I had a shed full of stuff.
Did you take all of it? Did you manage to keep any of it?
Most of it went, yeah.
The cement mixer might have been quite handy.
Yeah, I should have kept that really. Anyway, so my garden's been half done for quite a while. So I had to get some more builders in and actually pay them, which was really annoying. I'm paying builders. So they came in and it's a guy that I kind of know. He came in and sort of was finishing it off in the winter for me, but obviously it's not the time to be doing the garden in the winter. So it's been half done for ages. It's really been annoying me looking out to my garden and seeing it not done. So they came back on Sunday to finish my garden, right? Now, my builders are characters, okay? They're real characters. And I'm here for it. I like a character.
What do you mean? What do they do? What do they get up to?
And I've shown a few people this, actually. So there's 2 builders. So there's the one like main builder and then his apprentice who goes and does jobs with him. But in the week, they go away and they work in different parts of the country, okay? And, you know, they're single boys. So I'm assuming that they probably go on Tinder, go on Hinge, go on Bumble or whatever and meet ladies when they're away, okay? Anyway, this was confirmed because the one builder, let's call him the main builder, he put an Instagram story on when him and the apprentice were off in some area somewhere doing some building work. Oh,
I can't
believe he put this on his Instagram. But I was...
It's awful.
So he basically put a video on his Insta story of his little apprentice doing the wild thing with a girl that he'd just met in this place where they were. But this wasn't just anywhere. They were in broad daylight and it was on the side of a riverbank, but with a busy road going next to it with people walking up and down in broad daylight while this guy is doing the wild thing with this girl.
I would have been horrified.
I mean, people must have seen them.
Isn't it illegal? It's naughty.
I think it might
You're
be.
not allowed to do that.
And then, so he sort of got a picture of them actually doing it. Then he got a picture of some people walking by, video, sorry. Then he got a selfie of himself with them in the background. Honestly, it made me howl. And I actually had to screen record it because I couldn't believe that someone had put this on their Insta. He tagged The Apprentice, by the way, so he knew it was there. And this was on there for a full 24 hours. He didn't delete it, okay?
That is wild.
Isn't it? But then I showed you. I think I showed Thea and Ross from RedBrik. They came. I was like, hey, guys, I was like, look at this. Yeah. I mean, I've shown quite a few people because I just can't quite believe it. So those are my builders. So they came back on Sunday. And I didn't know whether to mention this or not that I'd seen.
Yeah, I can't believe you didn't.
I got a bit embarrassed.
Well, you put it on an Insta story.
I know, but I just thought, oh, do I bring it up? And also The Apprentice, when he doesn't really talk to me, he's a bit shy in real life.
I bet he was like, oh God. He doesn't talk to anyone anymore.
So, yeah, so that was them. So those are my builders, but they didn't finish the job on Sunday, so they've got to come back this week.
Oh God. And didn't they leave Lily?
Yes, so they left. I had to pop out somewhere and they'd gone by the time I came back. That's builders for you, by the way. I mean, I'm not generalising, but that is builders. You go out, you come back, they'll be gone.
Yeah, like right there, they've gone.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Anyway, went round the back to see what they'd done, and on my back sort of porch, there was a red bottle, and I saw on the lid it said for Lil with a little kiss, and I thought, what have they left for Lil? Looked at it, bottle of Prime. The builders had left Lily a bottle of Prime.
They may as well have left her some Red Bull. I wonder what is Prime KSI's drink? Is it an energy drink? It is, isn't it?
I think it is an energy drink, but it's full of like sweeteners and naughty things. And I was a bit like, boys, thank you. The thought, lovely. And the way they labelled it for Lil, but I won't be giving that to my daughter.
When they come back in the week, can you please mention just be like, oh yeah, I meant to say you on the riverbank. You.
All right, yeah.
It's not wind in the willows.
Yeah. All right, I'll mention it. I'll psych myself up.
Yeah, just be like, there's better things to do on riverbanks, mate, than that.
Like,
look at wildlife.
I don't think they'll be into that, mate. I don't think him and his apprentice will be into looking at wildlife.
Well, obviously not.
Yeah, no, that's
not
their
know what
thing.
They're looking into.
We know what they're doing.
It's not wildlife.
No. So those are my builders.
Yeah.
Welcome to them.
Are they nearly finished?
Very nearly. I hope so. This week, hopefully, it'll be done.
Right, we need to... what are we doing today?
We've got more admin to do, mate. So much admin.
But it's our party on Friday.
Woo!
Whoop, whoop.